Perhaps this has made you feel strange before. The knock at the door. Someone wants to come in, pay a visit, and have a conversation. But inside, you feel uncomfortable, a deep resistance, and a profound urge to just say no. You don't hate people, and you're not upset at the world. But to be sincere, you just don't enjoy receiving visitors. You prefer your peaceful house, your undisturbed everyday life, and your preserved vitality. If it sounds familiar, take a deep breath, because in today's video, we're going to discuss something that almost everyone freely admits, the true, intimate, and sometimes misinterpreted discomfort of those who can't bear it when someone enters their personal space. And no, you are neither arrogant nor antisocial. According to Carl Jung, the founder of analytical psychology, such behavior could be communicating something much deeper within your personality. Today, I'll share with you 6 insights from Jung that explain why certain individuals just don't like having visitors, and why that is not only natural but might also be an indication of a valuable inner psychological process. So stay with me until the end, because if you've ever felt guilty about wanting to be alone, you may understand that today this has much more to do with your psychological development than with a character flaw. And before we delve into Jung's wisdom, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Do you also feel uncomfortable if someone suddenly shows up at your home unannounced? I would really like to know if you see yourself in this. Have you ever wondered why some individuals flourish at social events, parties, and home visits, while you, on the other hand, feel tired just at the thought of having visitors? Or perhaps you enjoy talking, you have wonderful relationships, but as soon as somebody wants to enter your house, something in you recoils. It's as if the mere presence of another person drains your energy. And there's a reason for that. Carl Jung, one of the greatest psychologists of the 20th century, was the first person to popularize 2 now commonly known terms, introverted and extroverted. But don't be mistaken, this isn't simply about timidity or sociability. Jung wasn't talking about social behavior but about the movement of mental energy. The extrovert directs their energies outward. They are nourished by connection and external stimulation. The outside world provides them with strength. The introvert, on the other hand, operates almost in the opposite way. They recharge from within. Their source of energy is silence, introspection, and isolation. When they are excessively exposed to the external, long conversations, unexpected visits, noise, or interruptions, their brain tends to shut down. Not out of arrogance, but out of mental necessity. And this is the key point, not liking to have visitors is not a social deficit. It is a direct hint of how your energy is structured. If you are more introverted, then your house is not simply a physical place but a holy space, a cocoon, a place where your energy reorganizes, where your mind finds harmony. And when someone enters that space, even with the very best of intentions, they touch unseen threads you've been sorting out for an entire day. The mere presence of the other person makes you activate your persona, your social mask. And in doing that, you move away from your real self. And you know what? That is extremely exhausting. Jung said that introversion is not a deliberate choice but a disposition of the soul. So when you try to go against this inner drive, it just leads to more tension and exhaustion. Some would say, oh, they're so reserved. They just dislike the company. But what many do not understand is this: what appears like coldness or disinterest is usually just self-protection, a mental shield, an unseen boundary constructed by the unconscious to protect the inner self. Carl Jung called this process the shadow. And the shadow, well, it's something inside you that you may not even totally understand, but it's there, quiet, hidden, and it controls your feelings, your reactions, and your innermost discomfort. Whenever someone enters your house, you're not just opening a physical door. You're unconsciously letting them into a realm where your vitality is at its purest but also at its most susceptible. And that's exactly where the shadow starts to act. The shadow involves everything you've suppressed for any reason, parts of your character that you had to hide, old anxieties, unresolved traumas, and hidden wounds. Picture this: someone rings the bell. You sit down together, begin talking, and rather than relaxing, you feel uncomfortable inside. An unusual discomfort develops, and sometimes you can't even explain why. The reality is, the presence of that person, their voice, their way of being, might unconsciously touch a blind spot in your mind, something you haven't yet delved to look at, something that lingers in the shadow. In Jungian psychological research, the home is not just a physical place. It's a sign of the soul. It represents your inner state. And when someone enters that space, they are not just entering your living room. They are entering sacred territory. Jung believed that symbols speak volumes more than words ever could. And the house is one of the most powerful emblems of mental state. It signifies the core of our being, where everything finds balance, where healing takes place. Every room signifies a facet of your personality: the bedroom, your intimacy; the family room, your social facade; the kitchen, your mental nourishment; and the basement, your deeper concepts. And the front door? It is the boundary between you and other people. When someone crosses that boundary, your unconscious feels something from the outside is entering. It's not only a physical presence. It's a foreign energy loaded with thoughts and stories. And if you are a highly sensitive introverted person, or if you're on the track of individuation, the process of becoming your real self, this may be highly exhausting. For Jung, the home was not a wall of protection against the world. It was an inner reflection. If you feel comfortable in your house, then something inside you is also in order. But if you feel that visits irritated your tranquility and changed the environment and destroyed silence, then maybe it is your unconscious talking to you. This soul is still under construction. I'm not ready to open all the doors, and that's totally fine. Protecting your home also means protecting yourself. In deep psychology, respecting your limits is a fundamental step toward healing and harmony. Therefore, if you've ever felt bad for not wanting to welcome guests, for preferring to be alone, now you know you're not isolating yourself. You're respecting the sanctuary where your soul resides. Have you ever put on an attractive smile when deep down you simply wanted to be quiet? Prepared coffee, engaged in small conversation, and seemed friendly while secretly thinking, when is this visit going to end? It sounds harsh and stressful, doesn't it? You feel resentful, heartless. But don't worry, Carl Jung helps us understand what's taking place within us. Jung called it the persona, the mask we wear to reveal ourselves to the world. It is the social position, the version of ourselves that adjusts to work, to family members, to relationships, and even to a visit. The persona is not false, but it is limited. It's not your complete soul, just a fragment, always the most socially acceptable one. The problem starts when you must put on this mask in your own house, where you should be able to be your real self. For individuals with a particularly strong personality, and this includes most introverted, highly sensitive, observant people, a visit might be highly exhausting. At that point, you have to perform, choose your words, control your facial expressions, and be mindful of the length of the conversation and the light being too bright or too dim. All of it drains mental energy, a lot of it. Jung said, the persona is important. It helps us work in society. But when we mistake the persona for our real self, the soul starts crying out. Maybe that's why you experience such inner resistance to visits. It's not about hating people. It's about feeling pressured to pretend, to keep a socially acceptable image, even if all you truly want is peace, to be barefoot in solitude, looking out the window. And do you know what's even worse? Many individuals spend many years wearing their personality even at home. They welcome visitors, make an effort, smile, and are inside absolutely exhausted, frustrated, and drained. But here comes a refreshing reality founded on profound psychology: you have the right to be entirely yourself in your own territory. You have the right to say no to visits. You have the right to decline invitations, to be unavailable, because while you're trying to please other people, you neglect yourself. There are situations when you simply want to be alone. Not out of drama or sorrow, but because your spirit needs silence. In such situations, many individuals feel uncomfortable and antisocial. After all, we live in a society that celebrates people who are constantly around people, loud, energetic, and present. But Carl Jung saw it a different way. For him, an urge to withdraw was often the starting point of one of life's most crucial journeys, the journey of individuation. Individuation means being who you were born to be. Not what society believes, not what your parents projected, not the character you've developed, but your real self, with light and shadow, with your essence and your reality. And this process does not occur in noise, but in silence. That's why being uncomfortable with guests isn't just laziness or mental instability. It is your soul seeking to protect you, keeping you away from distraction so you can hear what is being said deep within you. There is something inside you that wants to emerge. But for that, you need time alone. Jung said it clearly, being alone does not come from having nobody around but from being unable to express what is most important to you. And what is perhaps more important than listening to yourself? But how can it occur in the middle of commotion, with a guest who won't go, in conversations that do not touch the soul? Perhaps you've already felt it when listening, that unusual feeling, almost like relief. That tranquil, profound calm when someone eventually puts words to what you've felt for a long time but never could explain. This discomfort with visitors, this almost physical discomfort you've long perceived as a personal flaw, is truly a reflection of something far deeper. So let me now share with you 6 deep, real human insights from Jungian psychology about people who like to be alone, particularly in their own home. First, you are likely more sensitive to the energy of spaces than you think. Jung said, the unconscious sees what the conscious mind misses. And certain individuals are very sensitive to the mental field of other people. The voice, the look, the silence, and hidden tensions, all of that affects you. If someone visits your house, they bring not just their body but also energy and unresolved emotions, and you sense it as heaviness, as inner turmoil. Second, your mind needs space. Jung considered introversion as a natural necessity to bring order to the mental state. Time alone in solitude helps your mind to refocus. But a single visit might shatter this fragile balance. What others perceive as laziness is, in reality, your system seeking air. Third, continuous interaction with others might distance you from yourself. Jung said that the real self can only emerge in inner stillness. Nice conversations, continuous presence, friendliness, all of it removes you from your deepest self. It's not that you despise others, but to be around others, you always need to put yourself aside. Fourth, just the presence of another can trigger your shadow. The shadow, Jung's term for everything we have suppressed, memories, traumatic events, and unwanted components of our personality. Sometimes all it takes is a simple comment from someone else, and suddenly you feel uncomfortable or disturbed. It's not always about the individual. It's about what they provoke in you, a part of your personality that has not yet been incorporated. Fifth, this withdrawal you sometimes experience may be the beginning of something sacred, your path of individuation. Jung said that individuation means being who you really are. And the path starts as soon as you stop trying to please other people and start listening to yourself. Once you realize you need time and distance, not to escape life, but to connect with it more profoundly and honestly. And finally, the 6th reality, you are the solitary archetype, finally embarking on listening to yourself. You learn to say no without remorse, to lock the door without a terrible conscience, and to respect your limits without feeling disrespectful. Because each time you're kind when you don't want to be, every smile, every move you give without the energy to back it, you surrender yourself to fit into another person's reality. And you've realized you can't live like that anymore. It's time to respect your soul. So the next time anyone asks you why you prefer to be alone or don't want visitors, remember the solitary spirit within you. He stands there with his lantern, informing you that real light is created only after you've entered your own darkness, and it is completely fine to need silence to find yourself again.